unwitting interdimensional interloper, or dubious daring deceiver? Who was the mystery man of Taured? Ray Casper, mystery man, Taured, thoughts. Go, Ray.
Hey, Ching Chong, this story has been debunked so many times, Andreas. Why the hell are you always so slow on the uptake?
Ray, this show isn't about debunking or confirming. It's a bit of satire theater. Basic.
It's a goofy sort of show anyway, and you and your dim-witted little cast are really starting to get on Ray Casper's nerves. So just go ahead and start your little Guatemalan comedy schmucky flying saucer show and leave Ray Casper in peace. I'm Ray Casper.
Ray Casper called me. What is...
Putz.
I hate Ray Casper.
Dude is cock off for coconuts. Don't know what he's talking about.
Did he call you too?
He calls everybody.
Coconuts?
He calls everyone about coconuts.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with the coconuts. No, sorry, we're rolling. 1954. Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? I was and found myself in a hurried retreat from an adolescent Andorian ossifrage. Barely survived, barely made it out alive. How about you?
I was walking in a lovely park looking at cherry blossoms.
In 1954.
Well, it's more of a dream. I think.
Okay. Were you in Japan?
Yeah.
I see.
1954. Well, let me tell you, that was around the time, I was touring, with an odd French circus. That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Oh. French circus, huh?
Odd French circus.
Odd French circus.
So, if you think a French circus is weird, wait till you see the weird ones.
There we are. So, Tokyo, Japan, Haneda Airport, 1954. A very weary, smartly dressed traveler shows up and is detained by customs. He presents his authentic-looking passport, stating that he is from, and he answers in a very leisurely fashion. They ask where he's from. He says he's from Taured. Hello, Taured. And the Japanese custom officials have no idea what he's talking about. They've never heard it. There's over, like 230 countries or maybe even more. And they don't know every single country.
Too
This
many.
is 1954, and you can't interweb it up. So they said, can you show us where that is on the map? So they pull out this map and say, well, where's Taured? Where are you from? Everything looks legitimate. He has currency from Taured. He has traveler's checks, chèque de voyages, because his native tongue was French, and other documentation. And he points to the Principality of Andorra, which is a small little principality nestled between Spain and France.
Huh.
And it's an Iberian principality, I do believe. And he had no idea what Andorra was. And for anyone who's mistakenly stumbled across this channel and has an interest in such subject, if you want to do some good tax evasion, Andorra's your baby. And Liechtenstein. But that's a different story for a different day.
Torrid affairs, my people.
Torrid affairs indeed. And so customs officials wanted to investigate further, so they booked him a hotel and a hotel room, and they came back to check on him in the morning. And this was a hotel room that was several stories up, no balcony, no way to shimmy out the window or down a gutter or a gutter pipe of any sort. And he was gone. The bed was still made, perfect condition, and the washroom hadn't even been used. He disappeared. And the customs officers that were guarding the room, they got a really good bollocking because, they let him escape. But they swore up and down, and this is, the Japanese are pretty thorough about this kind of stuff, and they take law and order very seriously. And he just disappeared. And his documentation, his passport, his chèque de voyages, everything just disappeared that they had held for investigation. And so it's a really odd, strange thing about the Mystery Man, as they dubbed it, the Mystery Man, or the Man from Taured. And what's so funny about this this story is there was another fellow that was supposedly identified, and I believe his name was Broderick Johannesson or something, or Johannes or Johanna. I forgot what his name was, but something like that.
Johannesburg, probably.
Yeah, no, I know I know it when I hear it. And he was said to be able to speak fluent Japanese, but with a French accent and several other languages. But I wonder if he spoke his native Tauridian.
Japanese with a French accent. What does that sound like?
Well, yes. Well, the funniest thing about that is this is something I should leave for movie moments, Grimmhauser's movie moments, but there was a couple French movies that were filmed in Japan starring Jean Reno in the 2000s.
Jean Reno.
Yeah, and all the Japanese, even the extras, they all spoke very fluent French, what I found to be quite odd.
Well, I mean, they loved that guy. They loved him so much, they put him in a video game.
Did they really?
Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, just small blurb there. Onimusha 3, for those of you who know. Time traveling, samurai demons, and Jean Reno. Go figure.
Yeah. So, this is an unexplained phenomenon, or is it? So, a lot of people have argued that the Mystery Man from Taured was a universal traveler, or a interdimensional traveler, or came through a porthole, or a time slip of some sort, and all of that is,
Time traveler.
Yeah, time traveler. That's this. Basically, this channel is about not debunking. We don't want to debunk here. This is about celebrating the fact that this stuff could be true, and
The unknowable. Celebrating the unknowable.
knowable, yes, with a bit of theater mixed in. But yeah. So, what are our thoughts on the Mystery Man of Taured?
Well,
I think an interdimensional travel. History.
Well, all right. Well, I think it's unlikely that the guy quantum leaped, but it's possible. I'm just saying. But if not that, maybe a training exercise for the police there, and it was a fail,
Well, this was 9 years after the surrender of Japan, World War II, and the Cold War was just on the cusp of the Cold War, and there were spies everywhere. And Japan had turned away from its military pursuits to pursue economics and technologies. And I could only assume that at that time, Japan was right on the verge of being riddled with spies. I would say industrial espionage and things like that. And it's also, which I suspect that the Japanese, a very, very proud people and a nation, they were very quick to attempt to cover up or conceal anything that made them look incompetent.
I mean, it's a collectivist society. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I would do that anyway, either way.
Yeah, and it's so there's a lot of other theories that say this guy was just a con artist. There was a con artist that was, I think, detained and convicted of fraud, and went to prison there. John Allen Zegras, and he arrived with his Korean wife, and they had a bunch of fake documents and travel checks, and they pulled all kinds of cute little numbers. You know something of this, don't you, Madeleine?
Never.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not saying I say, but you know about John Zegras, though. You had a theory on it earlier you were talking about. The con man.
The con man.
The con man.
I think it's just the Japanese are trying to say it's just a con man versus a interdimensional traveler that went to them at least twice before this time that he was caught.
Oh, yes, because in his passport he had it had the stamps in there that showed that he had been to Japan twice already.
Yeah.
And several other places, and they were legitimate stamps. These weren't fabricated by him.
Well, that means, that's an interesting point then.
But that's not the con artist Zegras. Not the con artist Zegras, the actual mystery man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, to have all the travel documents and the money and the cashier's checks, it was pretty elaborate if it was a con.
Yeah.
It must have been easier to fake those documents back then.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
You just have like some ink stains and some stamps. I don't even know.
Yeah, so the thing with this whole story, the man from Taured, I really wanted to believe it's a time slip of some sort. And I'm fascinated with the fact of his reported, and this is all reported, this is his nonchalance on being asked where he was from, because that was widely documented. How he was just so nonchalant about where he was from and how irritated he was getting. And, a good actor's a good actor, but somebody asks where you're from and you say, I'm from the US or I'm from the UK, and somebody questions that, it would be a little annoying. So, the fact that he was so disturbed about being asked where he was from and then made to feel like a Dunsky by having to point out where it was on the map, and then his horror in seeing that, there's no such place on this map. And
maybe he was a good actor.
Yeah, maybe he was a good actor, or maybe he thought it was some sort of setup or something. They the officials called the hotel where he was supposed to be staying, and he knew the hotel well, and he said he had stayed there before. The hotel said, we have no reservations or bookings for this man. We've never even heard of him. And the company that he supposedly worked for, there was a branch in Tokyo. They never heard of him. But he had all this information, and and he just disappeared into thin air. In other words, time corrected itself, and our dear fellow vanished into the ether, back into his correct time, his parallel universe. I don't know.
It's crazy. So,
It's a funny one, isn't it? Yeah.
It's different because it's not about monsters that could exist or, aliens or anything. This is about people slipping in and out of time and space. That is beyond even what X-Files usually did. It's hard to wrap your mind around that such an incident could occur.
Yeah, what do you say, Madeleine? I know you have a specific theory on this, and
I like to believe it's interdimensional.
Interdimensional? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I'd like to believe it's interdimensional too. Now,
It's just so elaborate that it was a con. And then years later, they're coming up with this that it was a con.
yeah, there were, yeah, exactly.
Right at the time.
Yeah, there was that book that came out where it just had a small little paragraph out. It came out in like 1980 or something that just alluded to this. And I think, once Reddit got a hold of this story and they started to twist it and change it, and, we'll never really know. The man was never heard from again. But yeah.
You got to give it to Reddit. They're not afraid to play around with the facts. I like that.
Exactly, and that's like I've stated before on this show, that there's been so many times where I've mistakenly taken a subject that I have a cursory interest in, and I went to Reddit. And I don't seek out Reddit, but you input anything on the interwebs, and Reddit and a Reddit subpost will come up, whatever that is.
If there's not a subreddit for something, I'd be just shocked.
Exactly, and then it's one know-it-all, and then it's a couple dozen at least attempting to correct the know-it-all, and they're just using information that they've recycled and twisted around, kind of like this show, but in a more devious way there. Yeah, I don't know.
What happened to him after this year time he was in jail, though? There has to be some record if he left the country.
Well,
think?
the funniest thing, and it's not, I always say it's the funniest thing, but nothing's funny about it, that there's supposedly no record of him that I know of. And Zegras, I don't know, maybe he served his time and passed away, or maybe the Japanese government
Nixed him?
something of that sort. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm sure that those were looked at as serious crimes, you know.
I would think so.
And he had a Korean wife, and Korea didn't have the best relationship with Japan for a lot of historic reasons, so maybe that was held against him as well, but I'm not positive. I wonder what happened to his wife.
That's another thing, too. You don't know who the wife is, you don't know the name, nothing. So, I mean, just a lot of it just sounds suspect, you know?
Yeah. So, I would have to say on this, try to get a consensus on what we think. For the information we have or do not have, from what we know, true tale or festering fable, what says you? Says you, Madeleine?
There's just not enough where I'd like, oh yeah, it's a con. Because there's like things that can't be explained, like what happened to him.
All right.
So are you saying true tale, or are you kind of middle of the road on this one?
I'm usually middle of the road. Maybe true tale.
Fair enough. I gotta say, I would love to believe in this one. The problem with it is, guys, these things usually come to human error more often than not. Maybe once in a while you're gonna see something unexplainable, but most of the time, I mean, it comes down to this. Either the guy was a spy, and a good spy because he wasn't caught after the fact, or a semi-okay spy because he escaped, you could say. 2, he was a bad spy and he was locked up by the government, or just frauding, you know, a fraud overall and was detained and deported, whatever else. And a very volatile, fragile time after major warfare had just happened. Maybe they disappeared him.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me because, I mean, if you're going to make a fake passport, make it from somewhere real. At least it would take them a lot more time to check on the facts.
Yes.
Instead of making you point.
Then.
Yeah. If you have to point on the map, that's on you. That's on you.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, in that epoch, even if he would have said he was from Andorra and he had an Andorran passport, you know, would the Japanese custom officials of the 1950s have an example to compare that to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even then, the world was mostly explored. Nobody was dumb. So I say, festering fable, let the beast feast. Come on.
Beast, all right. I have to say, I believe this to be, for the most part, a festering fable with aspects and slivers of truth embedded within its bowels. Something happened, somebody showed up, something fishy happened. Zegras, I don't know enough about that story. I don't really like the sound of him. I want something more fantastical to be afoot. So I'm going to give my verdict as unexplained.
Ooh.
I have no idea.
So, I guess we're going 2 out of 3 on this one. Middle of the road, unexplained.
Yeah, I can't give it a true tale. I can't give it a festering fable. I don't know what I give it. Yes, and there's so many other YouTube channels and good YouTube channels, much better than this, much more professional, much more intellectual, and they've explained it the best they can and laid it out and researched this subject. And like I always say, the more I delve, the deeper I get into my own ignorance and mire on the subject. So,
what a fun place to be.
Isn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, all right. You know what is another fun place to be?
Where's that?
Grimmhauser's Movie Moments.
Oh, yes.
What says you?
So let's talk about dimensions and memory. A movie called Dark City, 1998. You know, you follow this guy. We're not going to talk too much about this guy, but he's traveling through this city, aptly named the Dark City, we'll just call it that. And He's trying to piece together the things that have led to the events of what's happening to him at that current point. And he's being followed by these weird guys with weird powers and deep voices. They're called the Strangers. They look a little bit like the Borg from Star Trek Next Generation, if you ever saw that one. They look pretty crazy. This one is a neo-goth noir type movie. Say that 10 times fast, people. And pretty much the breadth of the movie is him. He has this ability called tuning, and the Strangers have it too.
Okay.
This ability is kind of to rewrite reality to a certain extent. And everyone who doesn't have this ability does not know what's going on. They only know they only understand whatever changes have been made. There was nothing to forget because there was nothing to forget, you get it? Something crazy right there. So, most of the movie is him contending with the Strangers to find out, him toward his goals of finding his memories, you could say, and the Strangers for their own ends, which is not going to spoil that either. Watch the movie. It is different in a great way.
So, are there any big stars that we might know that are in this movie?
No one I care about.
Oh, okay. All right.
The whole point of that movie, I don't even remember if there were big names in it. It's how good it was because the Strangers stole the show.
Okay.
What was it called?
Dark City, 1998. And I'm glad it didn't come out in 1999, so I didn't have to, compete with like Fight Club or The Matrix, because that movie is gold on its own.
Okay. I had never even heard of it. I know you sent it to me to watch, and I wasn't able to get to it, but
that's all right.
Okay.
But for the rest of you, Dark City, I'm just saying.
Dark City.
You ain't seen it, just give it a look.
All right, I am going to actually give that a look because that does sound interesting. All right. Very interesting. You know what else is interesting?
What?
A hearty meal.
You don't say.
She thought I was going to say something else. I think a hearty meal that's sure satisfying is a great way to start your afternoon or your lunch.
And just what do you suggest for lunch, sir?
Well, every now and again, when I'm feeling a little peckish, I turn to Hormel. Hormel chili with no beans.
What?
Ray Casper here for Hormel chili, and Grimmhauser's blowing them out all night eating this crap.
Hauser.
No beans.
Here we go.
No beans. So this is not what our forefathers fought for. I love Hormel chili with beans, but no beans? I'm half and half about this now. 15 grams of protein, but also 28 grams of lies. What? No beans? Anything for you, Madeleine? Because I'm done. Hormel, you failed me.
Bacon?
What?
Does it have bacon?
No, it's just like reconstituted soy bits and beef and pork or something. I forget.
Soy or beef and pork?
All three.
All three.
Yeah. So Hormel chili with no beans.
Enjoy your can of questions, people.
Exactly. No questions indeed. However, I do have to say this is actually pretty good. But
not chili.
Yeah, exactly. Without beans, it's not chili.
It's not chili, yes. So we obviously all three today had contact earlier from your friend about the incident.
No.
This terrible incident that I don't have the heart to say that he needs to see a doctor.
Are you talking about the coconut apocalypse? That?
Exactly. God. I just don't. So I don't even. Ray can explain it. So
no, he can't.
Ray Casper, please go ahead. Hello, Ray.
Andreas, Grimmhauser, there is a thief among us. Yes, there's a thief on board the ship. It's unfortunate because we all know what hardship this means for honest men.
Yeah, he thinks it's you.
Last night, my personal store of coconuts was well up to the top of the netting, and look at it now. Care to explain this discrepancy, Petty Second Officer Second Class Grimmhauser?
We never guarded coconuts. That was never a thing, man.
Hold your tongue, goddamn you, say goddamn your eyes. The coconuts were taken by members of your watch that look to you for example. Do they not, sir?
No one thought I was an example. What are you talking about?
Mr. Andreas?
Yes?
I am ordering you to impound the personal stores of every man on Grimmhauser's watch and put them all on half rations.
How am I supposed to do that?
Just say it, I guess.
Rations, I said! Put them on now!
Okay, they'll be on half rations, Ray. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you, Ray.
Do butt plugs!
Oh my God.
That's professional. So, I don't even know what he's saying anymore. He meant bread and water is what I think, but go figure.
So, Ray Casper, I believe, does need a doctor. He needs some medical attention of some sort.
Psychological.
I think he needs a coroner, but that's just me.
I don't know what's going on.
I will personally volunteer.
So, just as a disclaimer, I was never in the Navy. Blake Grimmhauser was in the Navy, served with Ray Casper. Does he think you're in the Navy too?
I don't think
Does
so.
he think that
He thinks the whole world's in the Navy.
does he think that this little crappy little set up here is a ship? I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Definitely out to get him.
Oh yeah, that's all.
He thinks that the Navy, he thinks that military bunkers will full of coconuts, you know? That is some Donkey Kong logic, people. Don't fall for that shit.
So net. What's he doing? Keeping coconuts in a net? I don't understand netting. What is netting? Is that like? Okay.
I mean, there's netting in ships. It's so you don't fall down, you know, like 7 decks of steel and whatnot, but you wouldn't store coconuts in it.
I wonder if he's in some sort of parallel universe or time slip. Now that I think
In his brain, maybe.
Yeah, something is odd with
Does he
Ray
like
Casper lately.
coconuts like he likes pumpkin?
I hope not. Maybe he likes a challenge.
That's a great question. And where did the coconuts come from?
I didn't even want to think about that. Thanks.
Yeah, I know. I thought we had purged our psyche of the pumpkin hoarder.
There are some things you don't come back from, sir.
Yeah, all right. So, conversational wrap up. The man from Taured, time slips, and parallel universes. Oh boy. I was very upset about this one. I wanted it to be true. I really, really did. And I would say probably the Y-Files, obviously, great channel. Well, everyone knows that. Covered it. And their episode was a very quick episode, and I appreciated that. But the bedtime stories episode I thought was probably the best for me. I like the way that they just don't go too deep into the particulars of it, and it's more of a slow, mellow sort of tale when they spin it. But yeah, so
When there's very little content, you should take it slow, I think.
oh, okay, exactly. There we are. So yeah, this is a quick little segment today, and feel bad about Ray Casper. I feel bad about the coconuts.
I don't.
Sorry, go ahead.
I do not.
I know.
The coconuts can rot.
You're such a softie.
Well, no, I just.
He loves Ray.
Well,
He's like the grandfather you never had, or never, and the grandfather I never wanted.
yeah, and yeah, you're probably right about that. You don't seem to have a huge problem with Ray like Natasha does.
I ignored it.
Okay.
You think he's harmless? Because I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe harmless from a distance.
I mean, who is harmless from a distance except for like snipers? But
That's true.
All right, so Ray's gonna say goodbye per usual, and I don't know what to say, but okay. Hello, Ray. Hello, Ray.
Normally at this time of the big show, I would be thanking everyone for tuning in to the Erich Andreas Flying Saucer Time Travel Spaceship Movie Schmuck Show, but I am going to retract that this evening because, to be perfectly honest, Andreas and Grimmhauser have some answering to do, and so do you, Monica. This ship is filthy. That's right. This ship is filthy. And all three of you will clean up this ship and yourselves. This ship is filthy. Look at these. I heard that, Grimmhauser, that you dismissed the swallowing party and left the decks crusted in grime. Look, there's filth everywhere, sir. Look at it. Filth there.
You know what?
There. Now look at it there.
Your room is not my job, man.
See that filth? You will clean up this shelf, and we will be seen it again, and you will clean it, and it's not done properly. I will make you clean it with your tongues. You will clean up this ship. Hey, Andreas, did I ever tell you about the time Grimmhauser and I were in the port of Minggu, and we got these two slanty broads?
Okay, thank you, Ray. Thank you for calling in. Thank you, Ray. It always goes to that. You guys poured in a lot of areas, huh?
You're such a dickhead.
But
It's all in his head. I swear, it's all in his brain.
I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say. Is I obviously this isn't his ship, and it's not very filthy. I don't know where he's going with that. Thank you, Ray. But
He was saying ship.
ship. Yeah, what do you think he was saying?
Ship.
Oh no, he's saying ship. Yeah.
He meant both, but yes.
Yeah. The ship is filthy. He was saying. Filth there, look at it there, whatever the bit was, I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Ray. So what I have noticed with you, Grimmhauser, though, is that your irritation level towards him is kind of simmered a touch, just because it's kind of hopeless, I guess. I don't know.
Some days are better than others.
Well, I think maybe because you realize the man might be losing it a bit.
Real?
Yeah.
I knew from the day I met that guy, he was off his coconuts, but I also knew that it was better just to let it go and try to escape.
All right.
Unsuccessful.
All right. So thank you so much for tuning into this very awkward episode of the Erich Andreas Unexplained. And please, this is another invitation to like and subscribe if you so desire. And this wine is terrible. You notice that? Yeah.
My drink's nice though.
Yeah, the wine's decent. It's it's not an expensive wine, but it's definitely corked.
Well, if you got to choose to distill potatoes or grapes, go for potatoes.
Oh, there we are. Okay. All right. So thank you once again for tuning in. As per usual, we'd like to give you the Unexplained Erich Andreas 2 thumbs up and the peace out. Whatever that means. One day I'll know what that means. Oh, those are the birds again.
Always with the birds. Yeah.
Always with the birds. All right.
I hate Ray Casper.